Pastor George Burkhart, and this is another Higher Things video short. The parable of the negatively RSVPed wedding. That's the subject of today's Higher Things video short. Hey, if you love our videos, if you have been learning about your faith, daring to be Lutheran with us, slumming with some Lutherans with some weak sanctification, go ahead and hit like and subscribe today. You can also go to support.higherthings.org and give today. Your tax-deductible gift keeps Higher Things, a youth ministry, which is all about equipping parents, pastors, and congregations in passing on the faith to those kids. We got a youth conference that starts tomorrow in Chicago. Chicago is my kind of town. I'm there already. Yet how am I here? Through the magic of the internet and advanced planning. Give today. All right, so this Sunday's gospel was Luke 14, the parable. And the parable goes like this. A man once had a great banquet. And at the time of the banquet, he sent a servant to say to those who were invited, come, everything is ready now. But they were all alike beginning to make excuses. First said, I bought a field. I must go out and see it. Please give me an excused absence. Another said, I bought 5 pairs of oxen. I got to test those babies out. Please give me an excuse. Third said, I got a wife. I've married a girl. I can't come. So the servant goes back to the master and he says, these things. And the master becomes angry and says to the servant, go out into the streets and the lanes of the city, bringing the poor, the crippled, and the blind, and the lame. And the servant says, look, sir, what you've commanded has been done, and there's still room. So go out in the highways and the hedgeways and compel people to come in, that my house may be filled. For I tell you, those men who were invited shall invited to my first invited to my banquet. Let's try that again. For I tell you, none of those men who were first invited to my shall taste my banquet. What's this mean? Well, what it means is you and I are the poor, the crippled, the lame, and the blind. You and I are the sinners and the icky people, the thieves and the robbers and the murderers and the fornicators and the adulterers and the prostitutes. And we get to go to the banquet. And the holy people for whom God sent his son, the lost sheep of the house of Israel, they don't get to come in. They had so much to do. They had so much going on. Hey, Thor, you want to come up here, buddy? Come on up. They had so much going on. They had so much to do. They had so much that they going on. And some of them were biblical reasons. You want this? Come on up. They had some biblical reasons for what they were doing. Come on up. You think I'm going to give it to you anyway. You're making me look bad. Come on up. I wish you could see this. Up. They didn't go. They had better things to do other than being with at the wedding. And so he goes out and he gets the poor, the crippled, the lame. He gets sinners. But he doesn't stop there. He gets some folks that are just plain icky. And those people are on the ways of the road. Look, even in the Pax Romana, when Rome had cleared and made peace with all, made a peace throughout the empire, travel was still not that safe. It was safe, but there's on the road were a bunch of unsavories, like a basket of deplorables. All right, and you want this treat? You're gonna have to come up here. I'm not giving it to you. People want to see you, man. They love you. Well, come on up here. I'll get you. Come on up. Come on over here. I'll get you. Whoa. There's my ball. Whoops. Squeaked. There were people unsavory. On the side of the road is just like the side of the road today. Hitchhikers, people of questionable character, and the like. People who you don't really want us to have at a party. And those are for whom they get the invite after the children of Israel rejected him. So this parable is about how God saves sinners the likes of you and me, Gentiles. He saves people who don't deserve to be saved. And they're people, God saves sinners. Now, this is hard for us Christians also, because God saves people who we may not want to be saved. Murderers, thieves, criminals, child molesters, porn addicts, drug addicts, people with tattoos, people who don't look like us, people who don't talk like us, people with metal. He saves sinners. He wants to save sinners. He wants to save you and me. And really, if we are honest with ourselves, even if we're part of the poor, the crippled, the lame, and all of that, we are ourselves the worst of the worst. Because none of us are as good as a good Jew in the ancient times. We live in a world full of sin, and that sin is in our lives too. We don't know God's law as we should. We don't live as we should, and we really can judge no one. God wants to save sinners. He wants to save people who don't deserve being saved. And you and I get that salvation because the people he was sent for, the people he came to save, rejected him. They rejected him. And so we get second and third invites. Can you imagine if you got a wedding invite a week before? There's a Seinfeld episode on this, but it's before your time. A week before, you're like, well, I don't really want to go to that because they didn't think of me first. That's us. We get the secondary and the thirdary invites. Thirdary. Is that even a word? Is that a word? Anyway, think about this. God saves people like you and me who don't deserve it. I'm Pastor George Borkart, and this is another Higher Things video short.